Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to complete the square on this function, and to do this we are going to first isolate the first two terms in this and put those in square brackets. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to half the coefficient of the x term. So I'm going to get f of x equals x plus 2 squared. Now what I've done here is I've actually tried to put these into a perfect square. So I'm putting x from this and I'm putting half my coefficient of my x term. And I'm hoping that that's now the same as what's in the square bracket here. So I'll just square off my bracket and put a minus 5. Now you'll notice obviously I've left the gap because more than likely that and that are not the same thing, i.e. the square bracket on the top is not the same as the square bracket on the bottom. So I'll just square out the bottom bracket and you'll see I get square the first giving me x squared, twice the product giving me 4x, and I also have square the last, which is a plus 4. So I have this plus 4 included in this round bracket on the second line, which I don't require. So I'm going to subtract that 4 out. So minus 4 for that. Then it's only a matter of tidying it up. So f of x equals x plus 2 squared, and I have a minus 4 and another minus 5, which gives me minus 9. Now that is the completed square version of this function, and what this gives us is this gives us the maximum or the minimum of a quadratic function. In this case, because it's a U-shaped curve, it will give us the minimum, and the minimum is minus 2 minus 9. Now notice that the x value has changed sign. Okay, so we're going to follow the same procedure here again for this second one. So we're going to write down f of x equals square bracket x squared minus 6x, close my square bracket, and plus 1. So again, I've put my first two terms in square brackets. Okay, so I start completing the square on these. So f of x equals x minus 3, all to be squared, close my square bracket, and add my plus 1. Now again, once again, I have my x minus 3, and that's got from halving the coefficient of the x term. So the half of minus 6 gives me this minus 3 in the round bracket. Now the next thing then is I'm hoping that what's in both square brackets is the same, and once again I will just go to the side to see that. Now this step can be done in your head, but in the beginning you probably will want to do it out on paper. So when I square out that round bracket here, I get x squared minus 6x plus 9. So once again I have this plus 9 that I don't require, so I need to subtract that plus 9 out of there, so I get a minus 9. So then it's only a matter of tidying this up again. So I get x squared is equal to x minus 3 squared, and I have my minus 9 plus 1, which gives me minus 8. And again, this graph has a turning point at 3 minus 8. And notice that the x again has changed sign. Okay, so the first thing we need to do with this is we're going to rewrite it so that the x squared part is first. So f of x equals minus x squared minus 4x and plus 5. Okay, now notice that we're just rearranging. There's no sign changes or anything. We're just rearranging the items. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, they can be quite difficult when there's a leading minus in front of the x squared. So I'm going to factor out that minus, but I'm only going to factor it out of the first two in my square bracket. And I'm again going to leave that as a plus 5 at the end. So now I'm just going to proceed with the question the same as in all the other ones. So I have x squared plus 4x in my square bracket. So what I need to do is I need to complete the square in here. And I'm still going to leave that minus outside. So I get x plus 2. The plus 2 is because that's half the 4. And I'm going to square it. I'm going to leave some space and I'm going to put my plus 5. So once again now I'm going to square that out. So I get x squared plus 4x plus 4 And again, we notice that we have a plus 4 here that I don't require, so I'm going to subtract that out. Now on the next line you must be very careful because I need to distribute the minus back in. So I get minus x plus 2 to be squared, and the minus by the minus will give me a plus 4 plus my 5. So altogether then I have fx equal to 4 and 5 is 9 minus x plus 2 all to be squared. Okay, so once again we're looking at the same type of problem here. But this time we have a leading coefficient in front of the x squared term. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor that out, but we're only going to factor it out with the first two terms again. So f of x equals 3 times x squared minus 4x, close my square brackets and leave my plus 7 at the end without factoring out the 3. Now I'm going to proceed in the same way, and I'm going to complete the square on these two terms. So I have my minus 2 because it was minus 4 on the top line. I'm going to close my square bracket and add on my plus 7, and once again leaving some space on my square bracket because I probably need to subtract something. So squaring out x minus 2, I get x squared minus 4x plus 4. So once again here I have this extra plus 4 that I don't require in my square bracket, so I subtract that out. Now next thing I'm going to do is, on the next line, is I'm going to redistribute back in the 3. So 3 times x minus 2 squared, and 3 by minus 4 gives me minus 12, and then I also have this plus 7 at the end. So f of x is equal to 3 times x minus 2 squared, and minus 12 plus 7 gives me minus 5.